this week, I wrote 2 children's books that were based on Black characters, because we need to see, the children need to see more Black characters and our Black way of life in books. Are the philosophies that we carry, those stories need to be told. The things that are our values, they need to be in books.
In one of my interviews, I was talking to a historian, a lecturer in the US, talking about African history. I was asking, well, what is stopping you and other scholars like you collaborating with other scholars in Africa to be able to learn about Africa, if you are interested in doing that? Because there are a lot of Erasmus going on between students in the United States and European country to learn about ancient Greek, ancient Rome. These things are really available. You can go there to learn about them. Just in that way, if you are a teacher of African history, you can go to ancient Zimbabwe. That place is not in the moon, it's in the world. All you just need is a direct flight to Harare. You are there. It is passing through also the educational institution. I'm asking that because you are a teacher or you have been a teacher for very many years. I don't know if it is possible to say as teacher. That if you have been a teacher, you are always it. Yeah, we don't learn about being a real African. We don't learn about that. Like with our education, we learn about the Arawak Indians were here in the Bahamas first. Christopher Columbus came, all the Arawaks were overworked and killed, and then they brought in the slaves to do the work, who could sustain the sun and the heat and work the plantations, and we built the civilization in the Caribbean. That's the story we know. We don't know anything about who these people were before they were slaves. We just know that, and then a lot of us as cultural, instead of us claiming our African heritage, we'll be like, oh, my family's from Ireland. If you look up my last name, that's my family's from Ireland. My family's from this. We'd be like, they were your owners, not your family. So it's a real thing. So the education system, and then the books are being taken out in the US. The books are being taken out, and like personally, what I just did this week, I wrote 2 children's books that were based on Black characters, because we need to see, the children need to see more Black characters and our Black way of life in books. Are the philosophies that we carry, those stories need to be told. The things that are our values, they need to be in books, because they're not. It's usually the European story that is told in the book, and their values are pushed in the books. So as writers, especially educators, we know what the children need. We know the stories that the children need. And I can tell you as a teacher, I'm going to tell you, because I'm a mom, I have 4 kids, and I was a teacher. And there is a difference. I'm not saying that all European teachers act the same way towards Black children, but Black children need Black teachers in their lives, because we will tell them something that they need to understand that someone else from a different race may not be able to explain to them. You'd be like, don't let anyone say that to you, or don't do that. Don't let them do that. And we could tell them, the reason why, but from another race, the way that they would explain to that child not to do a certain thing, it wouldn't be for the same reason. And we need to see ourselves, and we need to educate our children in these subtleties that bring them pride in themselves, So, just even, especially the young boys, especially the little boys, because I've seen it myself personally with teachers, because he was the child of color in the class, automatically he's the rude boy. He needs to be medicated.
it's just because has shown them that the black male is aggressive, that it's telling them they're aggressive, they can't manage their emotions and all these other things, and so they're targeted in the classroom. But then when you put another person, a person like a woman of color, a person of color to deal with that child, the whole child shifts. I've seen that personally.
All right. Tell me about what you might describe as complexity or complacency on our part, in the sense that now we might say, okay, there is not enough writing about us. Just like, for example, in one of my interview, I was talking to a historian, a lecturer in the US, talking about African history. I was asking, well, what is stopping you and other scholars like you collaborating with other scholars in Africa to be able to learn about Africa, if you are interested in doing that? Because there are a lot of Erasmus going on between students in the United States and European country to learn about ancient Greek, ancient Rome. These things are really available. You can go there to learn about them. Just in that way, if you are a teacher of African history, you can go to ancient Zimbabwe. That place is not in the moon, it's in the world. All you just need is a direct flight to Harare. You are there. You just take maybe a bus or whatever. You can go to the ancient Zimbabwe, the ruin, the same way you can go to ancient Benin, for example, go to the ancient world of Benin, which have been described as the one of the wonders of the world. Mm-hmm. Because if we don't do it as Africans in the diaspora, Europeans will do it, of course, and they will sell it to us. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to see where we might have a responsibility here, especially for those of us who are able to read and write and able to do the same thing that the Europeans are doing. Because I live in Europe, I've been living here for more than 20 years. I don't see Europeans to really be superior to Africa in any way. Mm-hmm. They might be approaching things differently, but there is nothing genetic in there that says that they are superior to us as a people. They might have a system that is organized for them because they organize the system. We are in that system. So they are faster than us in the system because they build a system based on their impulses. Right. But other than that, we can still do something. So do we have a responsibility in this part? Share with me.
We don't know anything about Africa. We don't know anything. Like when they had last year, when we had the Afrexim Bank came to the Bahamas, Bahamians really don't know that Africans are educated and are rich. The narrative that we have been fed is that Africa is poor, and they don't have anything that they could give us. Why should we get anything from them? I've been battling that now with this thing that we're doing. It's just like, why would you want to get food from Africa? Why would you want to get stuff from Africa? And like comments that I heard, I was just like, how ignorant are we? But we don't know. So I think we need to get more exposure. Exposure is the word, exposure. Because my nephew went to university in Cape Town. And when he got his when he got accepted to school in Africa, we were like, oh my goodness, you're going to go to Africa to school? And he's just like, yes, I'm going to Africa to school. And he loved it. But we didn't know about that. We didn't know.